Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to 10 Count. I'm Steve Fall, but on today's edition, I am talking to the man who's going to be in battle in the Valley defending his gold. It's Fred Rosser. How are you doing today?
Mr. No Days Off is back in the house. I always say, don't die with a story and you tell it. And I've got to sell this fight that's coming up between Kenta and I this coming Saturday. So it's going to be off the hook, and I'm excited to talk about it with you, Steve.
I'm so happy to have you here again. Last time we talked about your championship, we talked about the past, but we're talking about the present today. And unfortunately, I am not in my home studio, so I had to get like a science project going here. Some glue, some cards, some cardboard. So we are running on a small budget here today, but it doesn't matter because the topic is going to be rich. We're talking about Battle in the Valley, February 18th, this weekend. Now, this event has so many matches surrounding it, but you versus Kenta. Again, strong, open weight championship is on the line. Is this a dream match for you? Is it a dream match for fans?
I think this is definitely a dream match. I've been doing tons of interviews, and you're like my last interview before we do our press conference on Friday night and our big fight on Saturday. Kent is without a doubt my biggest challenge ever. 20 plus years that I've been rocking and rolling in this business. And yeah, he's definitely at the top of the list. And I don't need to share the ring with CM Punk. I don't need to share the ring with Daniel Bryan because those are imitators. I said it on Busted Open Radio. Those are imitators. I'm going in the ring with an original, which is Kenta. But I've got to be honest with you, and I've got to be as transparent as possible. He's not the same Kenta he was 15, 12, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show the world that when I punish him. That shoulder, that bum shoulder of his is mine. That bum hip of his is mine. His prime was then, my prime is now. And he's going to see that, Kevin Kelly said it the best about Mr. No Days Off. Very few can keep up with his engine. And he's going to find out this Saturday.
That's true. That's true. You never run on empty. You always seem to be everywhere, dominating and destroying. So, Kenta, I'm sorry, but you're going to sleep. You're going to sleep. Though, very interesting topics about CM Punk and Bryan Danielson because everyone's talking about CM Punk lately about the fact that, oh, his injury will be done in 2 months. We'll be back in AEW, so on and so forth. All in all, I don't really care about that subject because I want to talk about you. Because this Battle in the Valley is some of the biggest matches to date. Jay White versus Eddie Kingston. Loser leaves New Japan. Whoever loses this match, it's done. And now all these rumors are online that Jay White might be a free agent, but we don't know that. So this matchup really sets up a situation of like, could this be the end of Eddie Kingston? Could this be the end of Jay White? What is the outcome of this matchup? What are your predictions? Who are you putting money down on?
There's a lot going at Battle in the Valley. Jay, I've shared the ring with him, and he's one of the best. And if he stays, he stays. If he leaves, someone that picks him up is going to capture a treasure because he's truly a treasure in this business. I've teamed with Eddie Kingston. He's from the Northeast area, just like me. He's rough and rugged as well as I am. It's going to be pound for pound. Definitely one of the match of the nights. Top to bottom, the card for Battle in the Valley is going to be stacked. Each one is definitely going to be a banger.
Oh my God, yes. And of course, we're going to see the New Japan in-ring debut of Mercedes Mone. We have all been waiting for this moment because, as formerly known as Sasha Banks, she was on such a great run and then things didn't go her way. So she decided, hey, I'm going to just decide on what's best for me. And obviously, what's best for her is New Japan because the spotlight is on her. The IWGP Women's Championship is on the line. Her versus Kairi. Who's going to win this?
I mean, she's chasing, I'm defending. But the funny thing about this and the great thing about this is that for Sasha, it was a dream of hers to compete for New Japan. For me, I was always intimidated in the style and I didn't think I could cut it. I was very fearful of New Japan, the style. So for us to be on the same show, she's from the Northeast area. We trained under the same umbrella years ago, and I've seen her firsthand recently train at the LA dojo here in Los Angeles with Koshida, and she's ready. She's definitely ready, and I can't wait to share the same show with her, because she's worked so hard. And I don't think it's a money thing. It's not about the money, it's about the love and the passion for the fighting spirit of New Japan. And she's doing it and I'm doing it. And I'm very proud of her. I remember putting out a tweet maybe in 2014 when a fan or someone asked me who did I think would be the next diva to come up on the main roster from NXT. And I said Sasha, and my mom wasn't a big fan of, wrestling, but she became a big fan of Sasha and Charlotte, Mercedes and Charlotte doing their thing. So I'm rooting for Mercedes.
Yeah, because this one, I think you go on Twitter and you look up her traction, you look up her followers, they're dedicated. It's not like when sometimes, for example, when Bret Hart left WWF and went to WCW, all Bret Hart fans didn't follow him to WCW to watch him there. This scenario with Mercedes is completely different. This is, I do believe, all those fans are going to follow her to New Japan. Just look at Wrestle Kingdom, the buy rates. They skyrocketed because of that. Car was outstanding anyways, but the fact that there were rumors online that she would show up really created this anticipation of, is this going to happen? And if it does happen, I don't want to miss it. And now we're here at Battle in the Valley. Nobody wants to miss this card. Nobody wants to miss her fight. Nobody wants to miss you. Nobody wants to miss the idea of Jay White and Eddie Kingston leaving New Japan. There's more than just great matches on this card. There are great stories on this card being told. Now, what do you want the fans to anticipate watching this matchup between you and, of course, defending your title against Kenta? Because, again, so many matches on the card could steal the show. How is your match going to stand up from the bunch?
Yeah, top to bottom, it's stacked and it's sold out, which is great. For me, Battle in the Valley is like my WrestleMania, my own personal WrestleMania, and to share the ring with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Okada, part of the double main event with Mercedes. It's an honor and a privilege to just share the show and be a part of it. How I'm preparing for Kenta? Well, there's a couple of things. If he decides to fly on me, I'm going to swat him out the air like a damn fly. And if he really wants to out wrestle me, I'm going to do my damnedest to put all of this 240 pounds into his chest. And if he wants to outstrike me, I know he's one of the best. He's better, I tell you what, he better give me his best shot because Battle in the Valley, I run stuff with New Japan Strong, and he's going to find out about that. And like I said, he's not the same guy. And I'm going to show the world that this coming Saturday.
Oh my God, you got the goosebumps running through my body. The excitement of Battle in the Valley. Is so much happening on this card. But then you brought New Japan Strong. What is the next step for New Japan Strong? What is the evolution of this brand? Because I know there's some movement happening with that brand right now, but what's the next step?
No, I mean, that's a great question. LA Dojo New Japan is celebrating its fifth anniversary. So I'm happy to announce on a lot of these interviews I've been doing is we have NJPW Academy, and I'm going to be one of the head coaches with Koshida, teaching the advanced classes, and the enrollment is going well, which is a great thing because I say there's a lot of wrestling schools in LA, and I encourage people that want to get into the business to join a wrestling school. But now that NJPW Academy is opening, I encourage people to come through and just get the tools and resources that they need to succeed. And people that win, like myself, want to see other people win. I want to see you win, Steve. I always say there's room for everyone at the finish line, and I'm excited to be able to have my cake and eat it too. I'm able to coach. I'm able to pretty much this coming Saturday pick apart and dissect Kenta. And then a couple of weeks later, when we have the academy, I'm able to sit down and talk to the students about how I targeted his shoulder, how I targeted his hip, how I broke everything down as to why I did what I did. And Tom Hanks said it the best: you're dope if you don't steal from the greats. So I don't steal their style, but I steal their thinking behind why they do what they do when I research and YouTube some of my favorites, to kind of be a dope and steal their intent behind what they do. So yeah, Kenta is in for He's in for a fight, that's for sure, Steve. And like I said, I'm excited about NJPW Academy, and the sky's the limit with the growth of NJPW Academy. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with us. And we have New Japan Strong live. We're going to be hitting Philadelphia soon. We're going to be hitting Washington D.C. soon. So we're going to be taking across the U.S. New Japan Strong. So I'm excited about that.
Outstanding. Outstanding. It seems like New Japan is the belle of the ball. Everybody wants to work with New Japan. It's again the belle of the ball. We go back to Wrestle Kingdom. We had Carl Anderson, a contracted WWE wrestler, on the card. We had Kenny Omega, an AEW contracted wrestler, on the card, debuting Mercedes. Like that Wrestle Kingdom card, the fact that each brand who everyone believes are fighting each other, they were on the same card. When can
Yeah,
we see more New Japan work with everybody? We already said New Japan versus AEW on Forbidden Door, but I think people really want to see is that WWE New Japan pay-per-view.
exactly, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Just because moves aren't being announced doesn't mean moves aren't being made. I would love to defend the strong openweight championship on NXT because I'm an NXT original. I know my place and I know where I would fit in and flourish. And I'd love to just come through NXT and defend this championship. But like I said, just because moves aren't being announced doesn't mean moves aren't being made. So we'll see, like Vince McMahon would always say, never say never in WWE. So that's what I'm saying.
And what's interesting too is since Vince McMahon stepped down from creative and Triple H took over, you would hear on commentary that they would mention, other organizations. Before this felt like an uncharted waters. We're never going to mention Ring of
Yes.
Honor championships or New Japan or anything. And out of nowhere, you hear Michael Cole dropping down. Oh, they're New Japan, Ring of Honor, Triple A. You're like, oh my god, like
Yes.
what are we doing here? And they're calling themselves wrestlers. Like it became this whole thing where suddenly all these organizations actually did exist in the wrestling bubble, not just the WWE bubble, the wrestling bubble. And how do you feel about that? Because as you were a former WWE wrestler, I imagine it's shocking to hear suddenly everyone being brought to the table in the same conversation.
Yeah, well, Steve, I got to tell you, I hate the word former. Former just sounds so washed up and
Well, you're not
everything.
watched up. You have a championship belt. You're fighting against Kenta, Battle of the Valley, February 18th. I would never, ever, ever, repeat myself, ever try to disparage you. I apologize. A member of the WWE roster at one point in time.
Yeah, I like to call myself WWE veteran because my
There we go.
journey my journey started in 2009 when I got signed and I got released in 2017, but I was being scouted from 2002 to 2009. So I always joke around with the interviewers, you're like a friend to me. And I just said, man, I put some time in WWE. So you don't say former Marine, you say Marine veteran.
That's
So
true. Are you on
uh,
the alumni? You must be on the alumni page too. So Darren Young on an alumni page. I'm assuming you're there.
yeah, alumni is cool, but the word former is just something. But to go back to your question, I think it's important. I think it's important for me to just stay in my lane. There's so much wrestling out there, and for me, when I compare myself to other organizations or compare myself to others, it kills my creativity and it kills my joy. So for me, I've just got to put my head down and stay in my lane with New Japan Strong, and hope and pray every day that I can get opportunities to maybe go back to WWE or work with AEW or Impact. But my plate is pretty full. I do more than just wrestle. I'm a public speaker. I go all over the country and talk about my whole block the hate movement. So I'm pretty busy. So it's important for me to stay in my lane.
I hear what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down, but at the same time, the fact that WWE on commentary is mentioning all these companies that existed, that I've been watching wrestling for as long as I can remember, and the fact you're hearing other brands being brought up on WWE TV really opens up my eyes and going, oh my, oh, could we see New Japan and WWE work together more often than not versus how AEW does it right now? Obviously, they have an open book policy where you can pretty much go wherever you want, it seems. But with you, Kenta, Battle in the Valley, February 18th, that this is what's crazy is that entire pay-per-view, Battle in the Valley, that was sold out based on one match. Mercedes being there
Yeah.
wrestling her debut. And then they added more, and then they added more. And now it has become the Super Bowl of wrestling coming up on February 18th. How exciting is that for you? Because again, this is not just it's another wrestling card. No, no, no. This has levels of excitement that I haven't seen in a very long time.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth again. For me, you're only as good as your last match, and this is definitely the biggest test getting in the ring with an OG, a living legend like himself, Kenta. Um, I said it to his face, and I'm going to say it in this interview. He's leaving Battle in the Valley with three boots on, two on his feet and one in his ass. And it's going to be a lifetime reminder of how badly Mr. No Days Off put a whooping on that ass of his. And he's got no time left. If he's not ready, he needs to get ready because it's time to go to work with the workhorse of New Japan Strong, Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser.
Well, on that note, I said we wrap this baby up because that's a perfect way to end a wonderful interview with Fred Rosser, the New Japan champion. We're going to see this Kenta Battle in the Valley. So much is happening. Will Jay White be gone? Will Eddie Kingston be gone? Will Mercedes be the new women's champion? I don't know. And that's why you're going to tune in to February 18th, Battle in the Valley. I'm pumped. You're pumped. We're all pumped. Plus, I drink a lot of caffeine. I'm Seafall. He's Fred Rosser. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye. And we'll edit there.